It was a moonless night as John Mitchell climbed into his car, ready for the long drive ahead. The road stretched out before him, vanishing into an inky abyss. The town of Crestwood was miles behind, and the nearest town lay far ahead. John had no choice but to traverse the desolate stretch of highway that cut through the lonely countryside. As he accelerated, the sound of the engine was the only companion in the eerie silence. The darkness outside seemed to press against the car, creating an almost claustrophobic sensation. John knew that the next few hours would be a solitary journey through the heart of the night. The highway twisted and turned through the desolate landscape. John's headlights cut through the night, revealing a desolate world bathed in a pale, ghostly glow. The wind whispered through the trees, creating haunting melodies that seemed to speak of long-forgotten secrets. John couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The trees that lined the road appeared to reach out with gnarled branches, casting eerie shadows on the asphalt. The isolation of the night was beginning to play tricks on his mind. As John continued his drive, he saw a figure standing on the side of the road ahead. It was a hitchhiker, their silhouette barely visible in the dim glow of his headlights. A sense of dread settled in as John approached the stranger. The hitchhiker raised a pale hand and motioned for John to stop. Despite the unease gnawing at him, John's sense of empathy took over, and he pulled over to offer a ride. The hitchhiker climbed into the car without a word, their face hidden in the shadow of a hood. The passenger's presence was unsettling. They sat in silence, their hood obscuring their features, and John could feel their eyes on him. He attempted to make conversation, but the passengers' responses were short and vague. John couldn't help but wonder about the stranger's true intentions. The eerie silence that hung in the car seemed to stretch into infinity, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he had invited something malevolent into his vehicle. The journey continued, and as the miles passed, John's unease grew. He couldn't help but steal glances at the mysterious passenger beside him, but their face remained shrouded in darkness. The silence was broken by a haunting laugh that emanated from the hooded figure. It sent shivers down John's spine, and he realized that something was terribly wrong. He knew he needed to get out of this situation, but the desolate road stretched on, seemingly without end. As the highway twisted and turned, John's worst fears were realized. The passenger's hood fell back, revealing a face that was anything but human. Hollow eyes, a twisted grin, and pale, clammy skin sent a chill of terror through him. It was no ordinary hitchhiker. It was a malevolent entity that had tricked its way into John's car. Panic surged through him as the creature's inhuman laughter filled the car. It seemed that there was no escape from the nightmare that had unfolded on this desolate highway. John knew he had to act fast. He swerved the car to the side of the road and slammed on the brakes. With a burst of adrenaline, he unbuckled his seatbelt and flung the passenger's door open. The malevolent entity screeched in anger and clung to the car as John desperately tried to shake it loose. With a final, desperate effort, John managed to dislodge the entity from his car. It tumbled onto the dark highway, and he sped away, leaving the nightmarish figure in the rearview mirror. John drove for miles, his heart pounding, and his mind haunted by the malevolent entity he had encountered. The highway seemed to stretch on forever, and the night showed no signs of ending. As the first light of dawn finally broke on the horizon, John's relief was palpable. The darkness began to recede, and the world returned to a semblance of normalcy. But the memory of that night drive and the malevolent entity that had crossed his path would forever haunt him. The encounter with the malevolent entity on that desolate night had left John Mitchell scarred. He couldn't shake the feeling that the entity's presence still lingered, haunting his every thought. He knew that he had experienced something otherworldly, something that defied rational explanation. John became consumed by an obsession to understand what he had encountered. He delved into books and online forums, seeking answers about the malevolent entity and the supernatural forces that lurked in the darkness. John's quest for knowledge led him to a reclusive expert in the paranormal, Dr. Eleanor Wells. Dr. Wells had dedicated her life to researching and documenting supernatural encounters. She had heard of John's experience and agreed to meet with him. As John sat in Dr. Wells' dimly lit study, he shared the details of his night drive and the malevolent entity he had encountered. Dr. Wells listened intently, her expression shifting from curiosity to deep concern. Dr. Wells explained that the malevolent entity John had encountered was likely a malevolent spirit that inhabited the desolate highway. It was a restless, tormented soul that sought to draw unsuspecting victims into its nightmarish realm. She believed that the entity's malevolence was born from a tragic past, and it was forever bound to the highway, seeking to inflict fear and suffering upon those who crossed its path. It was a force that thrived on the terror of the living. Determined to confront the malevolent entity that had haunted his night drive, John, with the guidance of Dr. Wells, embarked on a mission to face the malevolent spirit. Armed with knowledge and protective talismans, they returned to the desolate highway. The encounter with the malevolent entity was as harrowing as before. It appeared with a twisted grin, its presence suffocating. But John and Dr. Wells were prepared. They recited ancient incantations and used the protective talismans to weaken the entity's hold on the night. As the battle with the malevolent entity raged on, John and Dr. Wells learned of its tragic past. The spirit had once been a human who had suffered a terrible fate on the very highway it now haunted. Moved by the entity's torment and pain, John and Dr. Wells offered a path to redemption. They spoke of forgiveness and released the spirit from its malevolence. The entity's twisted form began to shift and change, and it let out a mournful cry of release. With the malevolent entity's redemption, the desolate highway was transformed. The darkness that had clung to the road began to recede, and the nightmarish presence faded into the supernatural realm from which it had originated. The first light of dawn broke on the horizon, and John felt a sense of peace that he had never known before. The malevolent entity's curse had been lifted, and the night drive that had once been a nightmare had finally come to an end. John Mitchell left behind the desolate highway, forever changed by his experiences. He had confronted the malevolent entity that had once haunted him and had learned the power of empathy, forgiveness, and redemption in the face of the supernatural. The night drive remained a haunting memory, but it had also become a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to confront and overcome malevolent forces. John knew that the supernatural world held mysteries beyond imagination, and he was ready to face them with unwavering courage and determination. In the weeks that followed John Mitchell's encounter with the malevolent entity and his subsequent battle, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than he had uncovered. Dr. Eleanor Wells continued her research, driven by the need to understand the origins of the entity and the supernatural forces that had led to such a nightmarish experience. As John delved deeper into the paranormal world, he unearthed a series of old records and journal entries related to the highway. These documents reveal a history of accidents, disappearances, and strange occurrences on the road. It became evident that the malevolent entity was not the only force at play. Chapter 17: The Haunted History. Dr. Wells and John discovered that the desolate highway had a dark history that extended beyond the malevolent entity. It had been the site of tragedies, accidents, and mysterious disappearances for decades. The road had earned a reputation as a place of misfortune, and many believed it to be cursed. The supernatural phenomena that had plagued the highway had been attributed to vengeful spirits, ancient curses, and malevolent forces that sought to draw travelers into their realm. The malevolent entity John had encountered was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Chapter 18: The Gathering of the Paranormal Investigators. Determined to unravel the mysteries of the haunted highway, John and Dr. Wells organized a gathering of paranormal investigators, experts, and researchers. They believed that by pooling their knowledge and resources, they could uncover the truth behind the supernatural forces that haunted the road. The team consisted of individuals with unique skills and experiences in dealing with the paranormal. They set up a base of operations near the highway and began their investigations into the road's haunted history. Chapter 19. The Otherworldly Phenomena. The paranormal investigators encountered a range of otherworldly phenomena as they delved into the mysteries of the highway. Apparitions, unexplained sounds, and eerie whispers filled the air, adding to the sense of dread that clung to the road. The investigators' equipment captured evidence of supernatural activity, and they documented the experiences of those who had encountered the malevolent entity and other entities that lurked in the shadows. The highway seemed to be a nexus of paranormal energy, drawing in forces from other realms. Chapter 20. The Unearthed Secrets. As the investigations continued, the team unearthed long-buried secrets that shed light on the supernatural forces at play. They discovered the existence of ancient rituals, curses, and sacrifices that had taken place near the highway, imbuing it with dark energy. The malevolent entity was revealed to be a vengeful spirit of a victim who had been sacrificed centuries ago. It had been bound to the highway by an ancient curse, and its torment had given rise to the other malevolent forces that haunted the road. Chapter 21. The Ritual of Redemption. Armed with their newfound knowledge, the investigators sought to break the curse that had plagued the highway for centuries. They performed a powerful ritual aimed at releasing the vengeful spirits and restoring peace to the road. The ritual was fraught with danger, as the malevolent forces fought to maintain their grip on the highway. The investigators battled against the supernatural entities that sought to stop the ritual from succeeding. Chapter 22. The Final Redemption. As the ritual reached its climax, a blinding burst of light engulfed the highway. The vengeful spirits and malevolent entities were released from their torment, their twisted forms shifting and transforming. The ancient curse that had bound them was shattered, and the road was finally freed from its haunted history. With the malevolent forces banished, the highway transformed, its dark energy replaced by a sense of tranquility and peace. The road that had once been a place of dread was now a symbol of redemption and closure. Chapter 23. The Closure. The paranormal investigators left the highway, forever marked by their experience. They had confronted the supernatural forces that had haunted the road and had uncovered the ancient curses and rituals that had given rise to its malevolent history. The haunted highway remained a place of intrigue and mystery, but its dark past had been lifted, and the stories of the malevolent entities were replaced with tales of redemption and closure. John Mitchell and Dr. Eleanor Wells continued their research, ready to face the unknown with unwavering courage and determination. After the malevolent forces had been banished and the ancient curses broken, the desolate highway finally experienced a return to normalcy. Travelers and locals alike found that their journeys along the once haunted road were no longer shrouded in fear and uncertainty. The eerie whispers and unexplained phenomena had faded, and the highway had shed its dark reputation. The transformation was palpable, and the towns that the road connected breathed a collective sigh of relief. As John Mitchell and Dr. Eleanor Wells continued their research into the supernatural, they couldn't help but reflect on the lessons they had learned from their encounters with malevolent entities and the mysteries of the haunted highway. They understood that the supernatural world held boundless mysteries, and that malevolent forces were often the result of tragic and tormented souls. Their experiences had taught them the importance of empathy, forgiveness, and redemption in the face of the unknown. With their knowledge and determination, John and Dr. Wells embarked on an ongoing quest to confront and understand the supernatural. They knew that the world was filled with unexplained phenomena, and they were ready to face the mysteries that lurked in the shadows. Their journeys would take them to haunted places, ancient rituals, and malevolent entities, but they were prepared to confront the supernatural with unwavering courage and a deep sense of purpose. The paranormal world held endless horizons, and John and Dr. Wells were ready to explore them. As they ventured into the unknown, they continued to encounter malevolent forces, vengeful spirits, and enigmatic phenomena. Their experiences became a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to confront and overcome the supernatural. The mysteries of the paranormal world were boundless, and John and Dr. Wells were determined to face them with courage and determination. In the heart of Ravenscroft, an ancient cemetery stood as a testament to the town's history. Tombstones, weathered by the passage of time, whispered secrets of those who rested beneath the earth. As twilight fell, an eerie fog cloaked the graveyard, and shadows seemed to dance among the graves, creating an atmosphere of spectral anticipation. Amidst the tombstones, a forgotten mausoleum concealed itself in the shadows. The wrought iron gate creaked open with a haunting resonance, inviting those who dared to step into the realm of the forgotten. Locals spoke of the mausoleum with hushed tones, warning that its occupants held secrets that should remain undisturbed. A group of curious friends, drawn by the allure of the macabre, decided to explore the cemetery at night. Armed with flashlights and emboldened by youthful bravado, they approached the forgotten mausoleum. Unbeknownst to them, the cemetery held a history of restless spirits longing to be heard. As the trespassers entered the mausoleum, a chill settled in the air. Shadows clung to the stone walls, and the air felt charged with an otherworldly energy. The friends, oblivious to the unseen eyes watching, ventured deeper into the tomb, unaware that the spirits within had awakened from their silent slumber. Within the mausoleum, the trespassers felt an unearthly presence. Whispers echoed through the narrow corridors, and the temperature dropped to a bone-chilling cold. The friends, gripped by a growing unease, hesitated to proceed, but an invisible force seemed to compel them deeper into the heart of the forgotten tomb. As the friends delved further, the mausoleum seemed to resonate with the echoes of the past. Ghostly apparitions flickered in the periphery of their vision, and the air pulsed with the energy of the restless spirits. The trespassers, now trapped in a spectral realm, struggled to comprehend the unfolding nightmare. Unbeknownst to the trespassers, the cemetery held a long-forgotten curse. Centuries ago, a tragic event had occurred, leaving the spirits entwined with the very fabric of the graveyard. The friends, unwittingly awakening the restless souls, became pawns in a supernatural drama that transcended time. In the moonlit cemetery, the ghostly apparitions materialized. Figures in tattered funeral attire wandered among the tombstones, their faces etched with sorrow. The trespassers, now witnesses to the spectral congregation, felt a palpable despair that clung to the night air. As the veil between the living and the dead thinned, the trespassers found themselves entangled in a realm where time held no sway. The ghostly figures, unable to move on, sought solace through the living. The friends, their expressions mirroring the despair of the spirits, struggled against an unseen force that bound them to the graveyard's curse. The spirits, burdened by the weight of unfinished business, revealed their stories to the trespassers. Tales of love lost, lives cut short, and the injustice that had befallen them echoed through the mausoleum. The friends, now ensnared in the haunting narratives, felt the unseen burdens of the graveyard's tormented souls. As the night wore on, the trespassers uncovered the tragic histories that bound the spirits to the cemetery. Each revelation deepened the connection between the living and the dead, forging an ethereal link that transcended the boundaries of mortality. The friends, now both witnesses and participants in the graveyard's curse, sought a way to free themselves from the spectral chains that bound them. Realizing the perilous situation, the friends attempted to escape the mausoleum. Yet the graveyard's curse, fueled by centuries of unresolved anguish, resisted their efforts. The tombstones seemed to shift, creating a labyrinth of shadows that disoriented the trespassers. The spirits, their spectral forms intermingling with the living, manifested in a desperate plea for release. In the heart of the mausoleum, an ethereal convergence unfolded. The trespassers, surrounded by the sorrowful spirits, faced a choice: to succumb to the graveyard's curse or to find a way to bring peace to the restless souls. The spectral figures, their features etched with longing, waited for the living to determine their collective fate. Guided by an otherworldly compulsion, one of the friends discovered an ancient ritual etched into the walls of the mausoleum. The ritual, a ceremony of redemption, held the key to breaking the graveyard's curse. The friends, now bound by a shared destiny with the spirits, embarked on the arduous task of performing the ritual that would either free them or forever intertwine their fates with the cemetery's haunted legacy. As the friends conducted the ritual, the mausoleum pulsed with eldritch energy. Shadows danced, and the air resonated with the sorrowful melodies of the spirits. The graveyard's curse, now confronted by the living and the dead, reached a critical juncture that would determine the fate of both realms. In a surge of ethereal brilliance, the spirits began to depart. One by one, the ghostly figures faded into the night, their expressions transformed from sorrow to peace. The graveyard's curse, now lifted by the ritual of redemption, relinquished its hold on the living and the dead. As the first light of dawn touched the cemetery, the friends emerged from the mausoleum. The graveyard, once shrouded in spectral gloom, now basked in the serene glow of morning. The tombstones, silent witnesses to the midnight ordeal, stood as sentinels over a graveyard liberated from the shackles of an ancient curse. The spirits, having found peace, lingered for a fleeting moment before dissipating into the dawn. The friends, forever changed by the spectral encounter, felt a silent gratitude from the departed souls. The cemetery, now free from the haunting shadows, embraced the new day with an air of tranquility. In the aftermath of the midnight ordeal, the cemetery bore the scars of its cursed legacy. The tombstones, weathered and worn, whispered tales of the supernatural struggle that had unfolded. The friends, marked by the spectral encounter, carried the weight of the graveyard's haunted history in their hearts. As time passed, the friends struggled to reconcile the reality of the spectral encounter with the skepticism of the living world. The memories of the midnight ordeal, like an eclipse between the mundane and the supernatural, lingered in their minds, forever casting a shadow over the normalcy of their lives. In the years that followed, the cemetery stood as a silent guardian over the town of Ravenscroft. The tombstones, etched with the memories of the spectral encounter, served as a reminder of the delicate balance between the living and the dead. The friends, forever bound by the haunted legacy, kept a silent vigil over the graveyard that had once held them captive. Though the spectral encounter faded into the annals of local legend, the echoes of that fateful night lingered. Whispers of the graveyard's curse, passed down through generations, became an unseen presence that wove itself into the fabric of Ravenscroft. The cemetery, forever marked by the supernatural struggle, stood as a testament to the enduring mysteries that lay beneath the surface of the mundane world. As night fell over Ravenscroft, the cemetery cast long shadows that seemed to dance with unseen spirits. The tombstones, silent witnesses to the spectral encounter, reflected the pale moonlight. Those who passed by felt an inexplicable chill, as if the graveyard's haunted history whispered through the night, waiting for the curious to uncover the mysteries that lay beneath the surface. In the heart of Ravenscroft, the cemetery remained an eternal enigma. The living, though unaware of the spectral encounter that had unfolded, felt a subtle unease when they wandered among the tombstones. The graveyard, a repository of both the forgotten and the remembered, stood as a testament to the enduring legacy of the supernatural struggle that had left its mark on the very soul of Ravenscroft. Over the years, the tale of the graveyard's spectral encounter became a cryptic legacy, whispered among the townsfolk with a mixture of fascination and trepidation. Local folklore held that those who dared to explore the cemetery at night might catch a glimpse of the lingering spirits or hear the faint echoes of the ritual that had lifted the curse. As Ravenscroft became a haven for paranormal enthusiasts, occult investigators descended upon the town, drawn by the cryptic legacy of the cemetery. Among them was Professor Samuel Hawthorne, an expert in ancient curses and supernatural phenomena. He arrived with a determination to unravel the mysteries that clung to the graveyard. Professor Hawthorne, armed with arcane knowledge and a keen intuition, sensed the unseen energies that permeated the cemetery. He conducted experiments, analyzed the residual traces of eldritch energy, and interviewed those who claimed to have experienced supernatural phenomena. The graveyard's cryptic legacy, now under scrutiny by an expert in the occult, seemed poised to reveal even deeper mysteries. During his investigations, Professor Hawthorne discovered forgotten artifacts within the cemetery, objects infused with residual energy from the spectral encounter. Among them was an ancient amulet, believed to have played a crucial role in the ritual of redemption. The professor, recognizing the significance of the artifacts, delved into their history to unravel the cryptic legacy further. In his quest for knowledge, Professor Hawthorne explored the town's occult archives. Dusty tomes and ancient manuscripts revealed snippets of lore about the graveyard's curse, hinting at an ancient pact and a tragic event that had initiated the supernatural struggle. The cryptic legacy, now intertwined with historical accounts, beckoned the professor deeper into the labyrinth of Ravenscroft's occult history. As Professor Hawthorne continued his investigations, he sensed astral connections lingering within the cemetery. Ethereal threads, remnants of the ritual of redemption, wove through the tombstones and mausoleums. The professor, with a dawning realization, understood that the cryptic legacy extended beyond the physical realm, into the very fabric of the supernatural. In a secluded chamber within the occult archives, Professor Hawthorne uncovered an ancient grimoire that held eldritch revelations about the graveyard's curse. The text spoke of a cosmic balance disturbed by the tragic event that had initiated the supernatural struggle. The cryptic legacy, now illuminated by forbidden knowledge, revealed a cosmic tapestry woven with threads of fate and malevolence. Empowered by the eldritch revelations, Professor Hawthorne embarked on an astral projection into the cemetery. His ethereal form floated among the tombstones, guided by the unseen energies that lingered. The cryptic legacy, now a living tapestry of spectral imprints and astral echoes, unfolded before the professor's otherworldly senses. Within the astral realm, the professor encountered the spirits of Ravenscroft's haunted past. Each ghostly figure, still tethered to the cemetery by the cryptic legacy, narrated its own tale of tragedy and redemption. The professor, a witness to the spectral narratives, understood that the graveyard's curse was a reflection of cosmic forces that transcended mortal comprehension. As Professor Hawthorne explored the astral connections, he discovered a celestial entanglement, a cosmic web woven with threads of destiny and malevolence. The graveyard's cryptic legacy, now intertwined with the celestial tapestry, became a microcosm of the eternal struggle between light and darkness. The professor, a mere mortal in the vast expanse of cosmic forces, felt the weight of the revelations that unfolded before him. Guided by the celestial entanglement, Professor Hawthorne discovered an astral nexus within the cemetery, an otherworldly focal point where the threads of fate converge. The cryptic legacy, now bound to the cosmic energies, pulsed with eldritch power. The professor, standing at the threshold of the astral nexus, faced a choice: to unravel the cryptic legacy's secrets or to succumb to the unfathomable forces that awaited beyond. In a cosmic confluence of energies, the professor delved into the astral nexus. Shadows coalesced, and the very fabric of reality seemed to unravel. The graveyard's cryptic legacy, now laid bare in the cosmic tapestry, revealed its ultimate purpose: a convergence of mortal and celestial destinies that defied the boundaries between life and death. As the professor navigated the astral nexus, he encountered celestial entities, beings of cosmic significance drawn by the disturbance in the celestial tapestry. The cryptic legacy, a focal point of mortal and celestial energies, faced a reckoning that would determine the eternal balance between the forces that govern the universe. In the heart of the astral nexus, a cosmic alchemy unfolded. The professor, a conduit of mortal will within the celestial confluence, became an agent of change. The graveyard's cryptic legacy, now subjected to the cosmic forces, underwent a transformative process that transcended the boundaries of the supernatural. The professor, a mortal scholar touched by the celestial, felt the surge of power as the cryptic legacy shifted in response to the cosmic reckoning. As the cosmic alchemy reached its zenith, an astral resonance emanated from the cemetery. The tombstones, infused with celestial energies, glowed with an otherworldly light. The spirits, now freed from the shackles of the cryptic legacy, ascended into the astral realms. Ravenscroft, caught in the embrace of the cosmic forces, stood at the threshold of a new era shaped by the celestial alchemy. In the aftermath of the cosmic reckoning, the celestial tapestry underwent a subtle transformation. The graveyard's cryptic legacy, now woven into the cosmic fabric, became a testament to the delicate balance maintained by mortal and celestial forces. The professor, having played a pivotal role in the celestial alchemy, carried the knowledge of the cryptic legacy's ultimate purpose, a cosmic tapestry that embraced both the mysteries of the supernatural and the eternal dance of celestial forces. Ravenscroft, forever changed by the cosmic alchemy, embraced a transcendent harmony that resonated through the town and the cemetery. The tombstones, now imbued with celestial energies, stood as beacons of the delicate equilibrium between the living and the dead. The cryptic legacy, once a source of fear and fascination, became a symbol of the cosmic dance that united mortal destinies with celestial threads. In the silent moments that followed the cosmic reckoning, Ravenscroft ascended into a new understanding of its place within the vast expanse of the universe. The town, touched by the celestial forces, carried the silent ascendance of the graveyard's cryptic legacy in its collective consciousness. The professor, forever changed by his astral journey, became a guardian of the transcendent harmony that bound the town to the cosmic tapestry. As time passed, the celestial watchers lingered over Ravenscroft. Beings of cosmic significance, they observed the town with an otherworldly gaze. The graveyard's cryptic legacy, now an integral part of the celestial tapestry, continued to shape the destiny of Ravenscroft in ways beyond mortal comprehension. The celestial watchers, silent guardians of the delicate balance, ensured that the transcendent harmony endured through the ages. In the eternal dance of the cosmos, the celestial weave enveloped Ravenscroft. The town, forever bound to the graveyard's cryptic legacy, thrived within the delicate balance of mortal and celestial energies. The tombstones, etched with the stories of the supernatural struggle and cosmic alchemy, stood as testaments to the enduring harmony that transcended the boundaries between the living and the dead. As the cosmic tapestry continued to weave its intricate patterns, Ravenscroft embraced the cosmic epilogue of the graveyard's cryptic legacy. The town, touched by the transcendent harmony, faced an unknown future shaped by the eternal dance of mortal and celestial forces. The tombstones, now infused with the cosmic weave, whispered secrets that echoed through the ages, a reminder that the cryptic legacy, though veiled in mystery, was an integral part of the celestial narrative that unfolded within the heart of Ravenscroft. Deep in the heart of Ashton Hollow, obscured by overgrown foliage and the passage of time, stood the forsaken and decaying Wormwood Manor, an abandoned house that bore witness to decades of secrets and sorrows. Its crumbling facade whispered tales of a dark past, and the haunting silence that enveloped the manor hinted at the horrors that lay within its forgotten halls. Legend had it that Wormwood Manor was once the residence of the enigmatic Blackwell family. Over the years, the house had become a spectral relic, its halls echoing with the unseen residue of past events. Those brave enough to approach spoke of eerie apparitions that flickered in the windows, and rumors of an otherworldly presence that lurked within the shadows spread like a chilling mist. In the dead of night, when the moon cast an ethereal glow upon the crumbling structure, the walls of Wormwood Manor seemed to whisper secrets to those who dared to listen. The wind, carrying the moans of the forsaken, rustled through the skeletal branches that clawed at the house's exterior, creating an eerie symphony that resonated with the spirits of the past. Ashton Hollow's residents, bound by a collective fear, avoided the vicinity of Wormwood Manor. The once grand estate had devolved into a haunting legacy, an ominous reminder of a darkness that refused to be forgotten. It was said that the Blackwell family's tragic demise had cast a malevolent shadow, one that persisted within the desolate halls and dilapidated chambers. Intrigued by the town's whispers and drawn by the allure of the supernatural, a group of paranormal investigators, led by the seasoned investigator Emily Harris, decided to unlock the mysteries shrouding Wormwood Manor. Armed with an arsenal of spectral detection devices, they ventured into the heart of the abandoned house, determined to unravel the enigma that clung to its decaying walls. The investigators' entry into Wormwood Manor was met with an immediate sense of foreboding. The air within the grand foyer hung heavy with the scent of decay, and the grand staircase ascended into the darkness like a portal to the unknown. As they moved deeper, the flickering light of their lanterns cast disconcerting shadows that seemed to dance in macabre tandem with the echoes of the past. The investigation led the team through creaking corridors adorned with tattered wallpaper and faded portraits. Every step echoed like a macabre heartbeat, and the investigators felt an unseen gaze upon them. The residual energy within the house seemed to intensify, as if the very walls harbored memories that yearned to be unearthed. At the heart of Wormwood Manor lay the forgotten ballroom, a once opulent space now consumed by darkness. The investigators, guided by the pulse of spectral energies, witnessed phantom waltzes that unfolded in the obsidian shadows. The ballroom, a ghostly testament to the family's tragic past, seemed to mourn its own lost splendor. As the investigators delved deeper, the malevolent presence within Wormwood Manor began to manifest. Cold spots materialized in the air, and ghastly whispers filled the investigators' ears. Emily Harris, undeterred by the rising tension, sensed an intelligence within the spectral currents, an entity that sought to communicate its torment. Determined to establish contact with the malevolent entity, the investigators arranged a seance in the dilapidated dining hall. The flickering candlelight cast an eerie glow as they chanted incantations to bridge the gap between the living and the supernatural. The atmosphere thickened, and the investigators felt a palpable shift, a spectral force that responded to their summons. As the seance unfolded, the investigators became conduits for the tormented spirits of the Blackwell family. Through them, the entity conveyed a haunting confession, a tale of betrayal, tragedy, and an unspeakable darkness that had consumed the once resplendent manor. The investigators, caught in the spectral current, bore witness to the family's anguish that lingered within the decaying walls. The malevolent entity, fueled by the investigators' unwitting invitation, manifested in a sinister tableau. The dining hall warped into a nightmarish spectacle, a realm where the living and the spectral collided. Shadows coalesced into a ghastly figure, and the investigators found themselves ensnared in a chilling manifestation of the darkness that had plagued Wormwood Manor. Reality fractured as the investigators struggled to escape the malevolent manifestation. The dining hall became a labyrinth of shifting corridors, and the air vibrated with the anguished wails of the trapped spirits. Emily Harris, grasping the severity of the situation, led her team in a desperate attempt to break free from the spectral web that threatened to consume them. As the investigators neared the brink of despair, Emily Harris faced the malevolent entity in an ethereal confrontation. Through sheer force of will, she compelled the entity to confront the darkness that bound it to Wormwood Manor. The spectral currents trembled as the entity, caught between redemption and eternal torment, grappled with the choices that had led to its malevolent manifestation. In a climactic moment, the malevolent entity succumbed to the ethereal currents. Shadows dissipated, and the dining hall returned to its dilapidated state. The investigators, now free from the spectral entanglement, found themselves standing in the haunting silence of Wormwood Manor. The malevolent presence, once bound by darkness, had been released, and the decaying house seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. In the aftermath of the ethereal confrontation, Wormwood Manor retained a sense of unease. The investigators, having glimpsed the darkness that clung to the forsaken house, felt a lingering shadow that persisted even in the waking hours. Ashton Hollow, unaware of the spectral struggles that transpired within its midst, continued to regard Wormwood Manor with an instinctual fear, a collective intuition that echoed the remnants of the malevolent entity's presence. Emily Harris, haunted by the ethereal confrontation, found herself compelled to unravel the lingering mysteries of Wormwood Manor. The investigators' resolve, undeterred by the malevolent encounter, burned like a solitary candle in the encroaching darkness. Determined to bring closure to the forsaken house, Emily delved into historical archives and town records, seeking clues that could shine a light on the shadowy past of Wormwood Manor. In a forgotten corner of Ashton Hollow's archives, Emily stumbled upon a collection of journals that belonged to the Blackwell family. As she leafed through the brittle pages, a narrative unfolded, a tale of forbidden pacts, occult rituals, and a descent into madness that spanned generations. The forgotten journals, their ink stained with the darkness that seeped through the pages, revealed a history intertwined with malevolent forces that had long plagued Wormwood Manor. The Blackwell family, it seemed, had unwittingly invited a curse into their lives, a malevolent force that latched onto their aspirations for power and immortality. As Emily delved deeper into the journals, she discovered a series of arcane rites performed within the very walls of Wormwood Manor. The curse, a consequence of these forbidden rituals, manifested as the malevolent entity that had tormented the investigators. Driven by a newfound understanding, Emily embarked on an expedition within Wormwood Manor. Armed with the knowledge gleaned from the journals, she sought to unearth the artifacts used in the cursed rituals, objects that had become conduits for the malevolent forces that still lingered within the decaying house. The investigators, wary yet resolute, followed Emily into the heart of the forsaken estate. In a hidden chamber beneath the manor, the investigators discovered a long-forgotten seal, a relic intricately inscribed with symbols of an ancient and malevolent origin. The seal, a focal point for the curse that bound Wormwood Manor, resonated with an ominous energy as the investigators circled it. Emily, guided by a combination of historical insight and intuition, discerned that breaking the seal was the key to severing the house from its malevolent past. As the investigators gathered to break the seal, the air within the hidden chamber thickened with a palpable tension. The curse, dormant for decades, fought back with spectral resistance. Shadows flickered, and ethereal whispers filled the chamber as the investigators chanted incantations to unravel the malevolent forces that had taken root within Wormwood Manor. In a surge of ethereal energy, the seal shattered. The house quivered as if awakening from a long and malevolent slumber. Shadows writhed and danced, but unlike before, there was an undercurrent of release, a departure of the malevolent forces that had held Wormwood Manor captive. The investigators, bathed in the spectral surge, felt a profound shift in the energy that permeated the forsaken house. Wormwood Manor, no longer bound by the curse that had plagued it for generations, seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. The investigators, standing within the hidden chamber, bore witness to a transformation, the lingering darkness relinquishing its hold on the forsaken estate. Ashton Hollow, though unaware of the ethereal struggles that had unfolded, felt a subtle shift in the collective apprehension that had surrounded Wormwood Manor. As the investigators exited the forsaken house, the night air carried a different resonance. The haunting silence that once clung to Wormwood Manor had transformed into a stillness, an echo of the restored equilibrium. Emily Harris, gazing back at the decaying structure, felt a sense of closure that transcended the supernatural. The house, no longer shackled by the malevolent forces that had tormented it, stood as a testament to the resilience of the living against the spectral currents. Despite the apparent calm that settled over Wormwood Manor, there were whispers, subtle echoes that lingered in the air. The investigators, attuned to the supernatural currents, began to hear faint murmurs during the night breeze. The town's residents, though oblivious to the spectral struggles, reported peculiar dreams and an inexplicable sense of being watched. The forsaken house, it seemed, still harbored whispers that defied the tangible and transcended the mundane. As days turned into weeks, Unexplained phenomena unfolded within Ashton Hollow. Objects shifted inexplicably, and the air crackled with an otherworldly energy. Some residents claimed to see ethereal figures in peripheral visions, and a sense of unease settled over the town like a shroud. The investigators, sensing that the spectral currents had not fully dissipated, returned to Wormwood Manor in an attempt to unravel the lingering mysteries. Within the walls of the restored manor, the investigators encountered residual shadows, remnants of the malevolent forces that clung to the forsaken house. It became apparent that the shattered curse had not vanished entirely. The investigators, now faced with a dilemma, delved deeper into the arcane archives to discern the nature of the lingering shadows that resisted the restorative currents. A careful exploration of Wormwood Manor revealed hidden chambers that had escaped the investigators' notice during the initial confrontation. These concealed spaces, tucked away behind false walls and obscured by spectral illusions, housed artifacts imbued with the remnants of the shattered curse. The investigators, guided by spectral intuition, unearthed relics that emanated with a malevolent energy that resisted dissolution. As the investigators studied the artifacts, they uncovered anomalies that defied conventional understanding. The malevolent forces, once subdued, seemed to adapt and manifest in unpredictable ways. The artifacts, now conduits for the residual shadows, pulsed with an ominous glow that hinted at a deeper and more insidious nature. Emily Harris, facing the renewed challenge, realized that severing the residual shadows required a deeper understanding of the curse's origins. In the forgotten journals of the Blackwell family, the investigators discovered hidden revelations that shed light on the elusive nature of the curse. The curse, it seemed, was not merely an arcane anomaly, but a sentient force, an entity that thrived on the echoes of despair and malice. The investigators, faced with the revelation, understood that breaking the shackles of the curse required an unprecedented level of understanding and unity. Armed with newfound insights, the investigators devised a ritual to foster unity among themselves and confront the residual shadows as a collective force. Within the restored ballroom, the investigators formed a circle, their hands interlinked, and chanted incantations that resonated with the spectral energies. The room vibrated with an ethereal hum as the investigators invoked a unity that transcended the boundaries between the living and the supernatural. As the ritual reached its crescendo, the investigators confronted the residual shadows in a collective effort. The spectral forces, challenged by the unity of the living, recoiled and writhed in a desperate struggle. The investigators, bound by a shared purpose, directed their collective will toward dissolving the lingering remnants of the shattered curse. In a burst of ethereal light, the residual shadows began to dissipate. The artifacts, once conduits of malevolence, lost their ominous glow. The investigators, their unity prevailing over the lingering darkness, felt a profound release, the shackles of the curse finally dissolving into the spectral currents. Wormwood Manor, cleansed of its malevolent legacy, stood as a testament to the enduring power of unity against the supernatural forces that sought to bind it.